What's up guys, it's Lord Both here with another video, and one of the things I was concerned about with the Oblivion remaster. I always get it wrong because the game feels like a complete remake with the amount of work they seem to have put into it. But one of my concerns was that we would almost immediately get the announcements of a bunch of other different games from other massive companies that were going to be remade. Because if this remaster of a 20-year-old game did really well, it's only natural to expect that other companies are going to do remasters of very old games as well. I mean, some companies, they've already been on the remaster grind of games we don't need remasters for. I'm looking at you, PlayStation. However, I didn't expect the announcements of new remasters or remakes to come even this fast and from really small indie developers. But we already have them. Because just after a couple days of the Oblivion remaster being out, 11-Bit Studios has announced that they're going to make a remake of their own game. This comes to us from Insider Gaming entitled Frostpunk Remake confirmed for 2027. 11-Bit Studios has announced that they are remaking the original Frostpunk, committing to a 2027 release window for Frostpunk 1886. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with 11-Bit Studios, they do the Frostpunk game, and I think one other indie series as well. And they also had a big console game that they were developing. And I did do a video on this subject on this channel because that game was actually canceled and the staff that worked on it were completely laid off. And the reason they gave is that when development started on this game, which was called Project 8, it wasn't even given really a working title yet. The market was apparently very different according to them, and they thought narrative and story games were more desired during that time than they are now, which is stupid because if you look at some of the games that have come out recently that have done really well, they've been very story heavy. In fact, I would say that the majority feeling in gaming is that people are taking a step back from the battle royales and really online multiplayer gaming in general. Not to say that those games aren't going to still do numbers, especially in the immediate, but it does feel like the winds are shifting a bit. Anyway, blaming that, and they also blame COVID, they basically said that the game would take additional time to develop and also additional cost to develop, and they didn't think they would recoup their money from making that game and actually putting it out. Which tells me that this company probably isn't the most liquid, cash-heavy business. They need something in which they can, I won't say reuse assets, but something they know that they can do and function within that's going to be easier for them to develop so they can bring in more cash to do experimental ideas that they're probably thinking about. So the easiest way for them to do that, especially as an indie game studio that's not as big as the big guys, is to do a remaster, or in this case, a remake. That said, I don't think they're off to a good start because they announced here that Frostpunk 1886 is being developed on the Unreal Engine. During 11-Bit Studios' recent earnings report, we learned that the next game was set in the Frostpunk universe and will release as early as 2027. Now we know that this project is called Frostpunk 1886 and it is a remake of the original title but built on an entirely new engine. That's right, the guys over at 11-Bit decided that they were going to build their new game on baby's first engine, the Unreal Engine 5 probably, because they did Frostpunk 2 on Unreal Engine 5. This despite the fact that they even say here, and Rufus Kubica, a director over at 11-Bit Studios that worked on Frostpunk, bragged about that they had their own engine, the Liquid engine, that their game was built and ran on. While working on Unreal Engine 5 for Frostpunk 2, the developers realized the limitations of their own Liquid engine and decided to go back to the drawing board to redo their first game in a new engine. Yeah, well, what I think they actually realized is that, one, Unreal Engine was probably way easier to work with, and two, they probably saw that the Oblivion remaster was being done on Unreal Engine 5 and were like, hey guys, why don't we just go back to Unreal Engine 5 for our remaster and people will think it looks good. Because people think it's such a good looking engine for this other 20-year-old game that's been remastered. Of our engine isn't as good as Unreal Engine 5, so they'll probably think the same thing too, right? With the remake, the developers aim to provide enhanced visuals, new content, laws, updated mechanics, additional events, improved technologies, and more, leveraging the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5. So yeah, this thing is an actual remake though. It's adding a whole bunch of different stuff to the game that fans will probably like. Also, and this is probably a big win for fans, it's going to have mod support. 11-bit studios have confirmed that thanks to Unreal Engine 5, Frostpunk 1886 will have mod support as the new engine helps add, quote, new content, future DLCs, and even community-driven content. They are really touting this Unreal Engine. The developers have confirmed that work on Frostpunk 2 will now stop with 3 major content updates, a console launch, and DLCs on the way. So you're getting spoiled for Frostpunk 2 content as well. Overall, I think this is actually really good for the series. I think people are going to enjoy the remake, that enjoy this game. I did play the original Frostpunk a little bit. It wasn't really my thing in terms of city builders and strategy games, but I can see the appeal to some people about it. That said, I don't think they're actually being 100% honest when it comes to their use of Unreal Engine 5, nor do I think that a remake of this game was really something they planned for along the way. I mean, the original Frostpunk came out in 2018. That's only 7 years ago. And I know for some of you Sony ponies out there, remastering a 5-year-old game is common for you. But the rest of us kind of think that's a bit dumb. Most of the graphics, most of the mechanics, everything is still up to date. I mean, I get that Unreal Engine 5 didn't come out until 2 years after this game came out, but I played the original Frostpunk not that long ago. And in terms of grand strategy and city builder games, this isn't one that I would say is graphically heavy. I'd say it's more art style heavy. And I feel like all the stuff that they are doing now in terms of new content, they also could have done on their old engine. Unless their engine was really that bad. In which case, I don't know why they were bragging about it in the first place. But yeah, this strikes me as a company that really needs an influx of cash, has all the tools at their disposal to make a new content heavy remake of a game that isn't really that old, and they're doing it to bail themselves out a little bit from bad financial decisions. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.